Okay, so we are live. Let's get some things started. Let me tweet about it first, then we'll start. Okay, so now that's done. Let's start with the test that we have done yesterday. Yeah. So here we were testing if validate account prepayment reverts on low gas, and we get correct value, correct error value. So here we got empty bytes because out of gas error doesn't return anything in the event, in the revert message. So we wanted to get some actual data and see how that revert will work. For that, we need to create the whole simple account contract again, but with some modification where a validate will fail, which it shouldn't, based uh, based on the EIP and the specifications where it says uh, the validate function should return success or failure value and shouldn't ever revert on in any case. But for the testing purposes, let's go ahead and create like a simple account contract that will revert on in the validation, because we want to see how the data is passed down to the test and what data will be passed down to the test. So here let's start, like I'm just going to create that contract here and call it account contract revert as base account. Then we can copy the simple account, few parts of it, not everything, like these three things, because we need it. We don't need the enable. Let me bear entry point. Okay, we don't need the enable part, so we can remove it because this is just a test contract. Next is, and then we have to implement the validate underscore validate signature, this function. Okay, where is this? This closes, this and this. Okay, now this is here. Yes, the error that we were seeing is now gone in in this whole thing. In this block, we are going to write a if statement which reverts, and which there will be a flag. Based on that, it will see like if it wants to reverse or not, because we can use this particular contract in multiple things. Let me show you. For that flag, we're gonna use like a enum. I don't want multiple boolean values, so that's why enum. We can say mode. So fail on validate. Yeah, success, not success, but fail on validate. Then next we can name like regular, not regular. Let's say don't revert on validate. Then we can say revert on validate. Okay. No, we need to remove this. Why we are using mode is we have one more scenario, right? Where we are not gonna pay enough fees to the entry point, and we are gonna test that thing.
Okay, so
We're gonna test if the if we
if we
get
get
this
this
error.
error,
So for that, we are
we are
also gonna
also gonna
modify the pre prefund. Let me check. What was the name of the contract? Yeah, underscore pre pay prefund. That's the name, and we're gonna change that to. Okay, I hope you didn't see hear heard the echo because I accidentally kept a setting on. So hopefully you didn't. Let's go ahead and continue. We're gonna modify this and send half of the received value. So we are receiving missing account funds. We are just gonna divide it by 2 and send it so that we can get this error in our test. And for that we need entry point validate to return success and not revert. That's why we have this mode where don't revert. Okay, we don't need this. We can say this for now. This is the only function, and then next function will be next enum value will be fail on prefund. No, not fail on prefund. Send less prefund. That will be the next value. Let's create a variable mode private mode comma, and we are going to pass it here mode. Let me yeah mode. Sorry, we can set it to underscore, or we can set it to s underscore mode, and here s underscore mode equal to mode. Okay, now here we will check if s underscore mode is equal to mode dot revert on validate, then revert with an error which is validate reverted, else else we can return seg validation success. This you can just put it here. I don't want to comment those out, it's too much of hassle. So instead we are just gonna put it here. Next is, let's go down. At which point? At this point, yes. Create simple account and related data, because here you see we need like user user operation and user operation info. So we are going to change this to deploy our new contract, which will revert on validate based on the flag. As you can see here, I was trying it out before the stream. So change account, this account we created here, simple account revert, is a simple account. Like it has all the functionality that an account contract needs. So we can use it in testing. How we are going to do that is, for some of the test we need regular simple account, and for that one particular test we need a different account which will revert. That's why we have this flag. For the test where we don't need it, we can set it to false, and where we do need it, we can set it to true, and it'll accordingly change the account contract that is being deployed. Here the simple account, like we don't need a value of type simple account, we just need the address of simple account. And why I'm saying that, you'll understand. So when we say change account, like I'm using ternary operator here and do something, this will create an issue where the return value of this statement, like this part, should be a simple account, but it won't be. No, because simple account on revert entry point. So these two values are different, which are getting returned. But as we don't need these values, like values of these types, so we can just convert that to account address, simple account address, and then wrap these things, both of them, and cast it to address. Okay, address. Now where are we? Yes. So what's the issue? Okay, expected 2. Now it will be simple account revert dot mode dot revert. Let me check. Wow, what did we name that value? Revert on validate. Okay, not here. Here. Yes, revert on validate. It should, and this is small e, not capital. Now you can see everything works. We just need to change this value. We need to put this value in every instance where we use it. We have done that. Now we are gonna get few errors because we have this flag, right? This flag, this is the extra flag. Okay, we have already added it here because we need the regular account, not the account that will revert. So false where false, then one more one more test should be here, right? Or no? Oh, okay. No, not one more test. In the same test I'm using two times. We are setting change account to false false, and here we are setting it to true. Now the account we are gonna get should throw an error, but not the low gas. So reverts throws correct error. Okay. So we are gonna increase the verification gas limit, which was too low yesterday, because we wanted to test if it reverts on EVM gas error, EVM out of gas error. That worked yesterday. Here we're gonna modify revert our argument that we pass to expect revert cheat code. It won't be empty x byte. Instead, it will be this error. But it's not just revert. And it won't be just like validate reverted. Like we can't put just a string here, because that will won't be a correct error. Instead, we need to abi.encode with signature. Then signature for revert is error string, and then we are going to pass this value. So this is the signature for this error. We don't have a selector, or I don't know how to get that selector, but I do know how to get the correct error value with abi.encode with signature. Signature for that error is capital error with capital E in brackets string, and then the string value that will be passed. Okay, let's run this. Not get push forge test dash empty. Yes, that works. Next, let's see the actual like trace. So you can see here EPH EPH is our harness, like entry point harness. Then we are exposing this. It comes down. Then it calls the simple account revert. Validate reverts with revert validate reverted. And this error, the encoded value of that error is this. You can see the whole thing. But if we just passed validate reverted this value, then this selector, the first 4 bytes, won't be there, and that won't be the correct error which we are expecting. So just keep that in mind. Next, we are going to test this part, reverted, where we are sending the wrong value. To do that, I already told you, we are gonna override this function and send half the value, not full value. Let me copy this, copy the whole function, and we'll just say override, then missing value divided by 2. That should work. Okay, here we're gonna check if mode is this. Mode dot this. If this is true, this should be. If this value is true, then do this. Otherwise, send missing funds. Okay, where? Okay, S mode. Now what? How did we access? Oh, S mode equal to. Okay, hopefully this is the correct syntax. Let's see. Just keep this value in mind. We'll go down. We're gonna create new test, function test, river validate account prepayment reverts on insufficient refund. Okay, so okay, we still need to modify few things. This part where we are sending only one value, but we need one more. Let's say, can we use this dot mode? Yeah, guess we can. Mode, and then we'll pass that here. Oh no, it's yeah, it doesn't matter what we are sending. Mode, but we need to change it in three places. This where we need simple account. It's getting too complex. I don't. Mode dot. Okay, here here it won't hit the if statement. Like we need the regular account here, so any value you put here, it won't be used in any case. But here we need to change this to revert on validate, and then down here we're gonna do the same thing. Packed user operation memory user op, then entry point dot user op info memory user op info. Next is let's create simple account and related data, then false true and this value. So let's go down and create the three values: OP index 0, UN 256, required prefund equal to 0.1 ether. UN 256 is verification gas limit equal to 50,000, and then put like vm dot expect revert. We'll put the argument, but for now let's call the entry point expose underscore validate account prepayment, pass the OP index, then user op info required. Why autocomplete is not working? Refund, yes, and then verification gas limit. Okay, now the error is 8821 didn't pay prefund. So let's go. We know how to access that value, error value. abi.encode with selector, then say I entry point dot failed op dot selector, comma op index, comma the string. Okay, now let's run that. And the test passes. Next test was, we have discussed this yesterday. Next test is checking this part, where whatever required prefund we send, it will take it from deposit, and in this function like the entry point is not sending that value to beneficiary. The entry point deposit should remain same, it shouldn't change, but there should be a deposit. So we are going to deposit 1 ether into entry point and see if that amount changes. Okay, so for some context, if someone who is listening doesn't know, we have discussed how the refunds work, where when a bundler, which is the entity who sends the user operation on chain, calls entry point, it needs to pass packed user operation array and an address of a beneficiary. At the end of the execution, all the gas fees that the bundler spent on validating and executing the whole bundle transaction, which that's the term that is called, like when you send bunch of user operations on chain, all the gas is refunded to that beneficiary. But that refund doesn't happen in this particular function, it happens in function called underscore compensate. So in this function, the deposit of simple account, sorry, in this function entry point will figure out, like here you can see balance of, it checks the balance of the sender, which is simple account. If balance is greater than required prefund, then the missing account fund should be 0. And that way, even if there is uh, no balance in the simple account, or even if there is a balance in simple account, it should remain same, because entry point is calculating missing account funds based on this value, based on the deposit of the simple account. So we're going to check if simple account balance remains the same, which says missing account funds was 0 when validate user op is called, because you can see validate user op sends this value, missing account funds. For that, we don't need to do like anything other than just sending everything correctly. Okay, let me go to this function. Okay, what we are doing here, understood. Reverted with the error. Sorry. It should be true, I guess now. True. Change account. What we did for change account, if the value is true, do this. If value is false, do this. Okay, then true, false. Okay, function test validate user of, no, validate account prepayment text missing account funds from deposit. Now we can say external in, will check initial balance. Sorry, we first need to create the simple account. Fact user operation memory user op entry point dot user op info, that will be, oh, memory user op info, and create, this will be true, false, simple account reverted dot mode dot send less prefund. Again, why this is not working? It's F. Okay, it's small f, capital F. Okay, now we can get UN 256 initial balance. Initial simple account balance equal to sender dot balance, sorry, user op dot sender dot balance. We are accessing the user op to get the sender field and then the balance of the sender. Then we are going to use, sorry, we need to increment the balance first. Increment deposit in the entry point for the simple account, which we can do with entry point dot deposit to then user op dot sender and pass the value equal to 1 ether. Okay, we have increased the deposit and that should cover the required prefund, so the balance shouldn't change. That's the assumption. Let's create those three values. Then call entry point dot expose underscore validate account prepayment. Then we know was the order in which we need, which order in which we are gonna send all the values. User op info required prefund comma verification gas limit. Okay, now that's done. We need to check we are gonna check if the current balance is equal to initial balance. So current balance, we know how to get it. User op dot sender dot balance comma initial account balance. Okay, let me copy the name. Yes, that this test also pass. This test also passes. So what's the next part? We can go to Solidity matrix and figure out a function that is smaller. And tomorrow we're gonna go over paymaster and like developing a paymaster and writing unit tests for it, unit test and integration tests. I already have one article up on Medium which you guys can check in the link below. I'll try to put the link in the description. Let me put it right now. Take a break for a while till I do this. Okay, uh, YouTube Studio, and then modify the description. Just a second. Content live. Yes, so I have updated the what is this? The YouTube description, and you can check out the article about Paymaster. If you want to, you can just follow that and write your own, write the Paymaster and start testing it. But we are gonna do that on stream from tomorrow onwards. For now, let me figure out what's available. We have tested this, execute op. Okay, we haven't tested execute user op. Let's see what it does. Okay, there is bunch of assembly. This, yeah, we can't do this because we haven't learned about execute. Difference between execute and execute user op. There is some part of specification that talks about this, but we haven't done it. So uh, okay, we haven't done it, so we can't touch this part. This is just a regular call inner op. I know inner op, but that's also bunch of assembly. Then bunch of this is bunch of assembly. Then next is paymaster mode succeeded. It checks if it reverts for some reason. Okay, so we can't touch this. We can, but again, I don't want to go over topics that I haven't discussed in the stream. Let's find something else to test. We have tested this. I think we have tested this also. Let me see. No, we haven't done that. Why? So it takes the user operation. Okay, we can test this where we push the user operation and memory user op, like packed user operation and memory user op. Memory user op, we know what it is, and it sets the value correctly. If not, we can cross check the values. Like if they are set correctly, we can also okay. We also have one conditional where we check if offset is correct. Yeah, that seems like a good idea to test. We pass here we pass a user operation and get a memory user op back, and then we test if the values are correct or not. That's the idea. Down function test copy. what was the name? Copy user op to memory. Test copy user op to memory. External, and then we need to create a packed user operation. Memory user op equal to packed user operation sender na sorry sender nonce init code then call data. Next is gas limit or verification gas limits, then pre verification gas, then gas fees, then paymaster and data, and then signature. We can pass address .123, that will be the sender, nonce will be 0, init code. Let's see, does this parse the init code? No, it only parses verification gas limit. Oh, it's account gas limits, not verification. Account gas limits. So init code can be empty byte. All data, it doesn't need to be passed by entry point. Now here, bytes 32, UN256, what is this? 50, move that 120, and UN256. Let me check somewhere else. Are we doing that right? No. We have to shift left, not shift. Put the value as 50,000. Then we can copy this and put 30, 30 and 40. Also we'll change this. Not needed, but it's good to have. And then let me figure out how to generate random bytes. Oh, isn't there like, no, sorry, generate random bytes in Solidity. I haven't came across this issue previously. Not random number. I need random number of bytes. Okay, that's not the case. Okay, so to generate random number of bytes, we can put 32 together, 32 bytes, like the hashes, and then create a bytes variable which has 51 and just start appending it. How much is the offset? It's 52. Okay, so if we get 51, we'll get the error. If it's 52, it'll say okay. Here in this function, it doesn't validate, right? No, it does. It doesn't. Oh, okay, it does validate it. So we need correct values for that thing. Okay, we'll learn about that. Okay, let's create. Let me test it. Put it here. We can generate random bytes. Bytes memory random bytes random 52 bytes equal to avi.encode kcalc 256. Then we can put hello and uh, other values world. Okay, similar to array. Yes, we can. Console.log save. Let's run the test and see the log. Is 64, 32, 32. So this is correct. We need 0 to 52. No, let's assign that to something else. Random bytes. Can we do this? Put this here and see. Type bytes. Memory slice is not Okay. Let's wrap this into API.input. Index range is only accessible. Dynamic only supported for dynamic call data arrays. Okay, let's function slice bytes call data input. Let's say put internal returns bytes memory, and we return 52. So input 52. Will this work? Thing like input and then remove this part. No, not input, slice bytes. We are not converting. Okay, we are converting. And then put 52. No, this doesn't work. I asked this to ChatGPT, like how to go about this. So just keep that in mind. And code packed. Okay. Invalid type for argument in function call. Invalid implicit conversion from bytes memory to bytes call data. Oh, can we call it memory? Okay, then this doesn't work. Let's see the error and just Google it. That's much simpler. No, that's not possible. This, okay. Lies bytes. Let's say it extra. No, public. can be restricted to pure, and then UN256 length. You can pass it here. This is to slice the byte and put 52. Okay, after a long while we have done this. Okay, maybe let's stop here for today. What we were testing right now, let's recap like what we are testing right now, which was copy user op to memory, which is present in the entry point as internal function. We have exposed that for testing, and we are trying to create bytes variable which is 52 bytes of 51 bytes of length, and the paymaster data offset is 52. So if we call the function, it should revert with this error, and we're gonna write test for that tomorrow. And also we are going to check if all the returned values in memory user op are correct, and by comparing it to user op. So that's the plan for tomorrow's test, and then we are going to start with paymaster and understanding how paymasters work. That's the idea. So thanks for tuning in.